Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as a Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about some of the most intense crystals ever. Some crystals that might be too intense for people to be working with, and some crystals that some people should just flat out stay away from. Like, some people should work with these last or really work on. Now, Florida Stone Man telling you to stay away from a certain crystal, that's if it's too intense for you, but I actually say that because sometimes it moves you guys closer to the gemstones when I say stay away from this crystal. So it's a little bit of a challenge as well. So if you can handle it, then definitely do it, but do it correctly. I'm going to start off this crystal video with Bloodstone. Bloodstone is super intense. This crystal, people don't even know how crazy Bloodstone is. Bloodstone is complete wildfire. If you see me looking around, it's because I'm in a parking spot and I'm by the beach, so it's Florida, so I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes peeled. So Bloodstone is so crazy. People don't even realize how crazy Bloodstone is. This crystal is so crazy that it changes colors when it protects you, or it changes colors when it gets demons out of you. It's an exorcism stone. It's an anti-demon stone. It's known as the Blood of Jesus stone. This was believed to be the jasper under Jesus Christ's cross when he died. So this is awesome. This is a wonderful Bloodstone. It's cool and it's awesome and it's amazing. I'm so happy to talk about Bloodstone, but this crystal alone is wildfire. This crystal literally, it's sometimes people get scared of the stone. I remember a long time ago people asked me, is this crystal cursed? Is this crystal too much? Well, if a person is around darkness or has darkness in them, even if they don't know it or don't want to acknowledge it, Bloodstone has no mercy against darkness. It literally breeds it breeds fire. It just completely, it changes colors. So when you first get Bloodstone, you'll notice it goes from a really dark color to a light red. It's like, what just happened? That's why it's also called heliotrope or heliotrope. So it's really cool. Bloodstone's awesome. So Bloodstone breeds wildfire. It's a little intense for people because a lot of people are not ready to face their demons. A lot of people are not ready to face that they might be the problem. So this crystal is just nuts. So next on the list is, I like to put Malachite up here on the list. This is actually one of the top crystals ever. So when people get Malachite from my website as a necklace, I normally phone call them to make sure they're okay. So why do I sell Malachite openly? It's because Malachite is very, very strong. It has a high copper content, and Malachite is just nuts. So on a physical level, Malachite it's just wildfire. The crystal is absolutely crazy. So this crystal is literally, if you are the problem, Malachite will amplify the problem, put it in your face like no other crystal does, and make you face it. But it can kind of make it feel like you're being cursed if you wear Malachite, if you're unbalanced, because it will keep dragging you out. Because if you're causing problems with other people, if there's situations and it doesn't discriminate at all. If you're a person who's a good person, but you're causing problems with other people occasionally, then guess what? When you're wearing Malachite, it literally calls you, that crystal calls you out. It's too much for people. This should have been last on the list, but I'm gonna put this up the first because I can't do this video and not think about how crazy Malachite is. So Malachite's one of those crystals that it's just a little too much for some people. Some people who use crystals are not the kind of people who want to work on themselves and become better people. So when people use a crystal such as Malachite, this crystal, it can literally certain crystal books say it can give heart palpitations, which I'm not gonna, this is a spiritual video, so disclaimer, I'm talking about the spiritual, not the physical. But to have this Malachite, this is Malachite right here, to have it over my heart, the first time I wore this necklace, I considered removing the Malachite, removing it, putting it somewhere else, because even at the slightest, littlest, tiniest thing that you do wrong, and it's helping you, because keep in mind, a little tiny pebble, something as small as a little tiny rock could start a war. Just saying something has started many wars. So it'll stop you from just saying something. The crystal's energy is nuts. So it is a poisonous crystal as well. So you don't want to ingest it. People are like, can you wear it? Can you wear Malachite? Yes, you can. I suggest people like, you don't ever wear raw Malachite. That's something you don't do. That's something you never do. Don't wear raw malachite. People are like, well, I like working with the crystals. I'll make a video about that in the future, about the difference between raw crystals and tumbled crystals. There's a small difference. Small difference. That's it. People are like, well, one's natural. Okay, if you take a salad and you cut the salad up, is it no longer a salad? I hope you like my examples, guys, but it's super, super interesting. So the next one is, and yeah, malachite, it's crazier than I'm actually making it sound out, because it can make it feel like you're being cursed. Because if you're an unbalanced person, this crystal will drag you for years. So when you wear it, it has its own mind. This crystal is trying to get your energy right, but it'll cause arguments and fights and just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So watch out for malachite. Malachite's just nuts. When I say watch out, okay, let me. I'm not scaring people away from crystals. So let me talk about the positive aspects of when you wear certain crystals. So what happens when you wear malachite and you're balanced? So the stuff it's supposed to do to you, it does to your enemies or anyone who even looks at you wrong. So this crystal, yeah, let's just say that. So anything it was supposed to, it'll just go crazy on your enemies. It'll have your enemies feeling like someone's cursing them. Like they'll do a whole bunch of stuff and they won't even know what's happening when they just made you to be their enemy. Okay. So what happens when you use? Let me talk about the other, because I'm gonna start talking about other crystals. It's mainly these crystals that I'm talking about. So let's talk about, I'm gonna put Moldavite on this list. Have Moldavite gifted to you, because people who are unbalanced and who have Moldavite, their angels normally get that piece of Moldavite very far away from them. So if that person is being very, very, very unaligned and they're not learning, the Moldavite will drag them too, but not like malachite. Malachite's nuts. Next crystal, black obsidian. Why about obsidian? So I've named Bloodstone. And what are the benefits to Bloodstone after you master its energies? Because I'm not scaring people off from crystals, but these crystals are so intense that you have to master its energy. You can't play with the crystal. Same thing with the obsidian. Obsidian is very high up on this list. So when you're wearing black obsidian, you have to keep in mind that the black obsidian is amplifying shadows. People view it as a protection stone. It's a protection stone against yourself. Because most likely than not, people have made themselves out to be, they make other people their enemies, but if you have all these enemies, if everyone's your enemy and you're like fighting all these people and you're being active against fighting these people, sometimes it's you. So the crystal will work on you. You have to understand nothing's outside of yourself. These crystals are working on your frequency so you become a better person. So obsidian will literally, every kind of trauma, everything you've ever done to make yourself to be in this position, it will bring up to the surface and it'll release. It just flat out releases it. So it's too much for some people. It's just too much. It's too much. So when I say it's too much, what happens when you master the crystal's energy, and what happens when you get used to it? What happens if the crystal doesn't bother you? Then that energy that's too much is now, your blessings are too much. There's never too much blessings, but I'm just saying how much intensity of the crystal is on this for certain energies, because I have to word this very properly, is how intense your blessings will be. So let's just say, and you have to, malachite, how does it attract money? Because people know it as a money crystal, but it's not the money crystal you think it is. It literally drags money to you from the other side of different realms and dimensions. So you have to keep in mind, this crystal grabs and pulls money to you. Let's just say someone's holding money, or someone is, for example, malachite, when people try to steal from you, they won't have any hands left. Well, just, they won't have any spiritual hands, let's just say that. Because malachite's very intense. It's just like, it's just so intense, it's like, whoa, what just happened? So that's what malachite does. Malachite is nuts. Obsidian's nuts too, but what happens when you master obsidian? Because people are like, well, I'm scared to work with these crystals now. Well, some people have, and if you work with these crystals incorrectly, because if you work with these crystals, like, oh, one on the left side, one on the right side, or as a tumblestone. I'm gonna make a whole video about tumblestones, and it's not gonna be very popular. Tumblestones are not overly helpful unless you're sitting down at home and you're putting the crystals on your chakras for like an hour to 2 hours, and then you're letting it do its job and you're going throughout your day. Unless you're serious about your spirituality, because you can't just leave a crystal on you for 5 seconds and think that's how crystals work. No. So tumblestones do people very much injustice, although if you've gotten used to crystals' energy and their intensities to the point where you've actually mastered their energies, and guess what? It's gonna work for you. It'll work out for you. Now, Hypersthene, black Hypersthene, this makes up very high on the list. I don't ever prescribe this crystal to people because this crystal literally screams at people. It's like, ah! And sometimes, I mean, it'll make things very intense. Like, for example, with black Hypersthene, I'll give you my example. As a spiritual person, you have to drink a lot of water. So, after I put on the Hypersthene, my whole body was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, what's this frequency? I'm like, why is everything feeling wild? It feels like I have to do something, but I don't know what I have to do. I kept seeing signs of water. I'm like, what is this? And the message was that I just needed to drink more water. And after I drank more water, the Hypersthene was less intense for me. I'm like, I really thought to myself, I'm like, this crystal did all this to show me one little tiny thing. But if you think about it, some little tiny things are actually the most life-changing. Some people are dehydrated out here. But if you're not drinking enough water, that could lead to you not acting right, you not feeling good, your spiritual gifts not opening as quickly, versus when you drink enough water, then guess what? You feel a lot better. You feel amazing. You feel wonderful. You feel hydrated. You feel balanced. So a little tiny thing can make you unbalanced, and Hypersthene is a crystal to kind of annoy you on small things. So its energies are unrelenting. So Bloodstone, Malachite, Hypersthene, Moldavite, have Moldavite gifted to you because it's only for certain people. If you've gotten through every certain situation in your life and you don't feel like anything needs to be worked on, then I would not. I mean, because you think as humans, we think that we know everything. We think we know everything as humans, but we don't. Our angels know more than we do. So if we think we know when the best time for Moldavite to get to us, that's why you lose a Moldavite, that's why things get so crazy, etc. Now I'm gonna keep this video nice and short. This video is very simple, so I don't think there's too many other crystals. I mean, those were the main crystals for this video, because these crystals, Bloodstone, because I have to re-prescribe certain crystals. I'm like, this might be too intense for the person. So other black crystals too. Onyx can be too intense for people if you haven't gotten through what you needed to get through. So let's just say, if you're someone with really bad patterns and thoughts and really bad beliefs and really bad, you do really bad things and you don't know you do it, the Onyx will constantly bring it up until you finally release it. So that's just one thing about Onyx. So that's the main crystal that I would like to have talked about in this video. There's not too many others. Some people are scared of Jet. There's nothing scary about Jet. Jet will make you confront your shadows too. So other black crystals, so the black and the green crystals are usually what scare people. That's about it. I'm looking down, I'm like, did I miss any crystals? Is any other crystals too intense? It's mainly Malachite. It's Malachite, Moldavite, Bloodstone. Tourmaline's not, I mean, okay, let me talk about this right now. If any other crystals are too intense for you that are not on this list, like, I've heard people say, I can't wear turquoise, it burns me. Well, it's like, I'm not being mean, but it's like when a vampire says, I can't touch silver. It's because there's unholiness there. There's some unholiness, as in like something needs to be purged. Crystals should never have negative reactions to you, ever. Not negative spiritual reactions, ever. And as it gets darker, I start becoming static. Ecstatic. Not just static, ecstatic. I'm very happy. I'm loving this video. But check out FloridaStoneman.com. If you're up for a challenge, these crystals are good. Just say, I'm gonna title this video Crystals That Are Too Intense for People, because it's appropriate. It's definitely appropriate, because some people are just not willing to grow. So people will have a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe a couple of years of wearing a certain crystal, and they haven't got past its energies. If you're just trying to wear the crystals as bracelets, you probably won't get. For the crystals that are overly intense for you, that you're just wearing as bracelets, there's a high chance that it's not going to do its full job, because you have to swap it between the yin and the yang, which is highly why I suggest it as necklaces. You can get your jewelry from FloridaStoneman.com. I have all of these, most of these on the website. You're never getting Moldavite on my website. I'm considering putting out an oil on the website, just because I know people like Moldavite, and the oil does not do the same thing as the gemstones. drop it in the comment section if you want me to drop Moldavite oil on the website. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!